The rain had been falling over London since dawn, the kind of cold, slow rain that made the city feel heavier than usual. At King's Cross Station, people hurried across the hall, dragging suitcases, checking arrival boards, and walking with the rhythm of a city that never learned how to slow down. But among them stood one man who wasn't in a hurry. Arthur Hale, age 63, gray hair, a worn brown coat, and tired eyes that looked like they had seen more winters than summers. Every evening, exactly at 6:45 p.m., Arthur would walk to Platform 7, sit on the same old wooden bench, and wait. He had been doing this for 11 years. Some people thought he worked at the station, some thought he was homeless. Some thought he was simply strange, but no one ever asked. Because in a city like London, no one had the time, except for one girl. Her name was Lena Carter, a 22-year-old journalism student who passed through the station every day after her part-time job at a cafe. She had noticed Arthur nearly 100 times but never spoke to him until one evening when the trains were delayed and the station grew unusually calm. She approached the bench and asked gently, "Excuse me, is this seat taken?" Arthur looked up, startled but polite. No, please." Lena sat beside him, stealing a curious glance. "You're always here," she said casually. Arthur blinked, almost shy. "Yes, I suppose I am." "Waiting for someone?" she asked. He smiled faintly, a smile that looked like it hadn't been used in years. "Yes, I am." She didn't press further, but as the days passed, their conversations grew. Arthur wasn't talkative, but he was kind. He reminded her of her grandfather, who had passed away 2 years earlier. Finally, one rainy Thursday evening, Lena asked the question she had been holding back for weeks. "Who are you waiting for?" For a moment, Arthur didn't answer. His hands trembled slightly as he folded the newspaper on his lap. "My daughter," he whispered. Lena straightened. "Your daughter. She left home 11 years ago," he said, his voice thin but steady. "We had an argument. A terrible one. I told her she was wasting her life pursuing art. She told me I never understood her." He swallowed hard, the memory still sharp. "She walked out that night, and she never came back." Lena's chest tightened. "I'm so sorry," she murmured. Arthur simply nodded. Every year, on her birthday, she would send a postcard. No return address. Just a short message. Always the same line. "What did it say?" Lena asked, leaning in. He shrugged, his eyes becoming moist. "Maybe one day, Dad." Lena felt her own throat ache. "And when did the postcard stop?" 4 years ago, he replied softly. A train screeched in the background as Arthur continued. "So I come here, every day, because Platform 7 was her favorite. She always said it felt like the beginning of an adventure." Lena wiped a tear she hoped he didn't see. "Mr. Hale, 11 years is a long time." Arthur looked out at the empty tracks. "Yes, but hope doesn't know time." A week later, Lena arrived at the station with a small photo in her hand, a picture of Arthur's daughter that he had once shown her. As a journalism student, Lena had quietly been searching, asking questions, checking art clubs, digging through old exhibitions, hoping to find anything at all. Then she stumbled upon it, a painting exhibition in Brighton titled, "Maybe One Day," by Iris Hale. She froze when she saw the name. The artist had used the same phrase from the postcards. The paintings were emotional, full of longing, distance, roads, and train platforms. It had to be her. That night, she rushed to the station, breathless. Arthur was there, as always, his eyes fixed on the tracks. "Mr. Hale," she called out. He turned, startled by her urgency. "I found her," Lena said, tears of relief shimmering in her eyes. Arthur's breath caught in his throat. "What? She's alive. She's an artist now, a successful one. She's in Brighton." His cane fell from his hand, clattering on the platform as he stood up, trembling. You found my Iris." Lena nodded, unable to hold back her own emotions. "Yes." Arthur covered his face with his shaking hands. It was the first time she'd ever seen him cry. Deep, shuddering sobs of a man who had held on to a single thread of hope for over a decade. The next morning, Lena accompanied Arthur on the earliest train to Brighton. The journey felt surreal. He kept fiddling with a small pendant in his pocket, Iris's childhood locket, the only thing he had left of her. When they finally reached the gallery, Arthur hesitated at the entrance, his face pale with fear. "What if she doesn't want to see me?" he whispered. "What if she hates me?" Lena placed a hand on his shoulder, her voice firm but gentle. "Hope doesn't know time. Remember." Arthur took a deep, shaky breath. Then, he stepped inside. The gallery was quiet. White walls, soft lights, and paintings that told a story of their own. Paintings of lonely benches, long roads, train stations, and a recurring character, a girl walking away, and a father reaching out. At the end of the hall stood a woman in her early 30s, with auburn hair, paint-stained fingers, and a familiar sadness in her eyes. Arthur stopped breathing. "Iris," he whispered, the name barely audible. She turned slowly as if afraid the moment wasn't real. Her eyes widened in disbelief. "Dad," she breathed. There was no hesitation, no anger, no accusation. She rushed into his arms, and he held her like he'd been drowning for 11 years and finally found air. Both cried. long, painful tears. Tears that carried years of regret and love. "I'm so sorry," Arthur choked out. "I should have supported you. I should have listened. I should have." Iris placed her hand over his mouth, silencing him. "You're my father. I never stopped loving you." They embraced again, tighter this time, as if afraid time would steal them apart once more. Lena quietly stepped aside, knowing this beautiful, fragile moment wasn't hers to keep. Later, as they walked around the gallery, Iris pointed to her favorite painting, a man sitting at platform 7, waiting. "I painted this because I hoped," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion, "that somewhere, you were waiting for me." Arthur smiled through his tears. "I waited every day. And I found you," Iris said softly, taking his hand. "Because someone who believes in hope never stays lost. Time can separate people, but love, real love, always finds a way back. Don't let pride steal years you can never get back. Fix things while hearts are still beating." If this story touched your heart, make sure to subscribe to Royal Reads for more emotional, powerful stories every day. Your support keeps these stories alive. Thanks for watching.